Well, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good evening. Gotcha. Okay, I'm Ross Bricker with AVAC, and for those of you that don't know who AVAC is, we've been around for just over a dozen years. I'll flip through these slides really quickly because I'm between you and the reception and whatever else you have to do today. A lot of words. Basically, we're a private company that was created by the province to try and catalyze value-add agriculture. That's activity that post-farm gates activity in the province and generates revenue. In fact, actually, Daryl, I think, was involved, and Jerry, in some of the pre-work that led, the business plan, the original business plan for AVAC. In the early days, it was focusing on a couple of things. It was focusing on trying to help companies get to market with their value-added products, also to help in terms of catalyzing market-focused research and building capacity in certain key areas that were critical for the province in terms of building out technologies appropriate for the industry, as well as a connector piece that was kind of Web 2.0 at the time when there was Web 0.0. So that was part of a communication information connection piece called, what did we call that at that time? Yeah. So anyway, so I've been with the company since 2000, so a couple years after its inception. And what we do today is much the same as we initially did in the beginning. Is in the agriculture value-add area, we focus on strategically important areas. Technologies in companies are interesting to us, but we're very much more focused today on the entrepreneurs involved in leading those companies forward. Obviously, it's important. It shouldn't be stated, but I always repeat it anyway. We focus on the people involved in the companies. We did a little bit of reconstruction over the previous 10 years at our anniversary date as to what keys to success did we see in terms of the investments we had done to date. And at that time, we had about over 90 companies in our investment portfolio that we'd got involved with. And with only one exception, good management teams moved forward successfully. And where there wasn't a management team or it was just weak in enough number of areas, very, very rarely did they succeed or move forward successfully. They were stalled, or worse, they failed. All right. In terms of who we are, we have a team of 12, I guess, to date. Wendy Lamb's in the audience here, and many of you know Wendy. We've got another 5 investment managers and a few support staff offices, both in Calgary, near the airport, as well as just a few blocks north of here in this research park. And in terms of who we are and what we do, we invest in a lot of different technologies across a lot of sectors in Alberta. So we've got an industry-managed board that have a breadth and depth of experience, anywhere from venture capital and corporate finance to individuals that have started up successfully companies in this space, led national and international companies as CEOs, and has a breadth and depth that is fairly well unmatched, I think, in terms of a board around at this point. Okay, what we do, as Armand, I think, introduced earlier on, is we do provide non-dilutive financing for startup companies, pre-revenue. We start at the pre-seed stage, which is when companies have a technology that's partially developed and perhaps not much else. And we'll invest all the way up to the point with helping with a bit of the working capital associated with getting them into their first product launch, into their first market. Non-dilutive meaning that it's not equity-based, but it's not free. It's repayable, and typically it's repayable at some multiple of its original payments, so it's not a one back. In terms of our model, we always go invest with the lead management team and their investors, so we don't invest for normally more than 50% of the total cost of that scope of work at that stage of the company. And we're very much looking to see that the other money comes in part from the entrepreneurs themselves. It's the biggest signal that entrepreneurs can have to their investors is being willing to put their own skin in the game on a going forward basis, as opposed to saying, okay, I've done all this wonderful thing, now you take me the rest of the way. So very much we're looking for signaling from their entrepreneurial team and the investors that they're willing and they're as excited about this opportunity as they want us to be. Okay, in terms of the strength piece, this is sort of business 101, but we're very much looking at the marketing and business strength of the management teams. We're looking to understand whether they've looked and understand. Is that me? Excuse me. Yeah, sorry about that. We're looking for the strength and the willingness of that management team to be able to find out the answers to questions they may not otherwise have already addressed. And we're looking for a fair and open and honest relationship with the people we invest in. So if they don't know the question, the worst thing that they can do is try and bluff their way through with us, because we may actually know something about it. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But the point being is that this is about a partnership, and this is about trust, and this is about making sure that whatever we are able to contribute is beneficial to the company if it's received in the form that it's intended. And if the individuals involved in these companies move forward in the appropriate way and are serious about trying to figure out how to be better at what they do, then we probably have a good partnership. And in terms of intellectual property, one thing we've learned along the way is that we're actually in the process right now of a bit of a review, and apparently in terms of organizations and agencies that have money in the province, that have money that's from the province, we're apparently the only market-driven investor in the province today. Now that will change, I think, fairly soon. I think there's enough knowledge that we need to focus on finding out what people actually are willing and want to acquire or buy, and start building opportunities or reforming our companies to be able to successfully go after those opportunities. So long, this jurisdiction has been the same as everywhere else in the world, where we build lots of good technologies and we know it's a better mousetrap, and then we expect people just to line up at our door. And we just don't have the resources in the province to be able to continue to support opportunities that take that much more effort to get to market. So very much we're looking for nimble market-facing technology opportunities. Okay, so in terms of what we have and what we've been able to acquire over the years, we've so far received through investment from mainly the province but also from the federal government $126 million to then invest in opportunities. And dividing it by sector, so to speak, $55 million has been for the value-add agriculture area, including agriculture research. Another $24 million that was particularly earmarked for agriculture research. Those first two envelopes, we have roughly about $7 million left available for new opportunities in each of those envelopes. And in the last area is what's called the AVAC initiative, and it was us investing in technology-based companies, but in other sectors than agriculture. So information communication technology, everything from web applications to medical device imaging systems, some wellness products that are in the health side that don't relate to agriculture, some industrial applications. Forestry kind of transcends all agriculture in this area, so we've got quite a bit of overlap in the sectors, but we've been able to find and invest in 22 companies in the last 2 years in a whole range of technology-based areas in the province, and that piggybacks on the roughly, what's the number, about 90 companies that we've invested in that are value-add agriculture to date, so quite a few. And in addition, we got involved in the venture capital world directly as a fund-to-fund investor, so we co-invest along the big guys at Farm Credit and Avrio, for example, and have 2 other investments in technology companies, again, to Armand's point, that focus on information communication, clean tech, infotech are key areas, and some medical piece. But I will echo the point that was raised earlier that clean tech, particularly in some energy tech, is very much value-add agriculture and forestry. So it's how you position those opportunities. And today, I know we have quite a few companies in our portfolio that others have co-invested from the clean tech world, both from venture capital groups as well as Sustainable Development Technology Canada, that's all about clean tech. And ironically, we have some of the same clients that we thought were something else. So don't forget that in terms of understanding where you're positioned, that clean tech and infotech and energy tech are 3. Tech is kind of the buzz of the day, and more often than not, your technology opportunity probably fits into one of those 3 or maybe even 2 of those categories. You can't read this from there. It's in our annual report on our website, but these are the sectors that we focus on, and we tried to rationalize them a little bit and describe who we are and what we do. So we're in the life sciences area, we're in the ICT area, and we're in other industrial areas as well. And basically the way to look at it is we invest in early startup companies based in Alberta or have material benefit to Alberta in all areas but primary mining and oil and gas exploration. That's about the only exclusions at this point. And also, we don't have quite enough money to be able to do a pharmaceutical play. But other than that, we're basically open for business. And I've already talked a little bit about what's on this slide, so I won't reiterate. Other than Armand might actually recognize the photo. It's his brother's place at St. Isidore with the Enterprises McKay Timothy plant. So we do invest in all kinds of ag areas outside of, although most of our investments tend to be in the corridor between Calgary and Edmonton, just simply because that's where the majority of manufacturing and industrial post-farm activity occurs.